Hello students, today we are going to do chapter number 6, The Dinner Party, which is written by Mona Gardner. Now Mona Gardner was born on May 29, 1903 and died on August 2nd, 1998. She has written many fictional stories, but she is best known for her works The Dinner Party, Alien Dust, Accent on Living and Farming for Fur. Okay, now this is one of her best written fictional stories, and this story revolves around a dinner party and an issue that becomes a point of discussion between the men and the women folk. Now here in this lesson, the dinner party, the country is India, meaning the setting is in India, and a colonial official. Now who is a colonial official over here? Is a person belonging to a country that controls other countries. Okay, now he and his wife were giving a large dinner party. They are seated with their guests, army officers and government attaches and their wives, and a visiting American naturalist. So these are among the guests. So the colonel and his wife are the host and the hostess of the party, meaning they are giving it, and their guests are government attaches and their wives, meaning very important people who work at embassies, and a visiting American naturalist. So one of them is a naturalist. Who is a naturalist over here? A person who studies about animals, plants, birds and other living things. So they are now all seated in their spacious dining room, which has a bare marble floor. Okay, bare marble floor meaning the floor is bare, it does not have any decorations as such, and white glass doors. It has open rafters. Rafters over here means sloping pieces of wood that support a roof. So because it is in India, it has a sloping roof which has wood. Okay, it was made of wood, and wide glass doors. So the doors are very wide, which are made of glass and opens out into the veranda. A spirited discussion springs up meaning it starts or appears. Spirited meaning it's full of energy, between a young girl who insists that women have outgrown the jumping on a chair at the side of a mouse era, and a colonel who says that they haven't. Okay, so one more colonel is there over there, and a girl begins this discussion. She says that era, meaning the time when women, when they saw a mouse, would jump up on a chair. Okay, so that time is over, but the colonel says no, it's not over. So he says a woman's unfailing reaction in any crisis. So he says that is the only reaction that a woman can give in unfailing in any crisis. They jump up on the chair. The colonel says is to scream. So the first thing they will do is, when some crisis begins, they are just going to scream. And while a man may feel like it, he has that ounce more of nerve control than a woman has, and that last ounce is what counts. So he says that women will scream, they'll jump, but a man, even if he wants to do that, he will have that final little nerve not to shout. He will have a control over himself, and that is what is important, what counts. The American does not join in the argument. Now the naturalist does not join in this, but watches the other guests. As he looks, he sees a strange expression come over the face of the hostess. So the hostess, the main person who was giving the party, he was watching everyone. So in the same way, he was also watching the hostess. So suddenly there was some expression that comes over her face, and what does he notice? He sees a strange expression come over the face of the hostess. She is staring straight ahead, her muscles contracting slightly. So he can see her facial muscles contracting a little. Okay, with a slight gesture, meaning she makes a slight hand movement, and she summons the native boy. Now we are native boy meaning the person from India who is a helper, a worker, standing behind her chair, and whispers to him. So she tells him something in his ear and bids him to do some work. The boy's eyes widen. So when he hears what she has to say, his eyes suddenly become big, and he quickly leaves the room. Of the guests, none except the American notices this or sees the boy place a bowl of milk on the veranda just outside the open doors. So all the guests were busy in the discussion, so no one noticed what was going on. But it was the American naturalist who had noticed this, and he also notices that the boy had brought a bowl of milk and kept it out into the veranda. The American knew that in India, milk in a bowl means only one thing, bait for a snake. So when he saw that the boy had kept a bowl of milk outside on the veranda, he came to know that there is a snake somewhere around in the house, and this was just a bait meaning something to attract, okay, the snake. He realizes there must be a cobra in the room. He looks up at the rafters. So first, because there was a wood roof, he thought that maybe the snake would be up on the rafters. So he looks up to see if he could see the snake, but there was none. The likeliest place, but they are bare meaning they are empty, there is no snake. 3 corners of the room are empty, and in the 4th, the native boys are waiting to serve the next course. So he sees the 3 corners of the room, nothing is there. And in the 4th corner, there are some boys who are waiting to serve the next course of the dinner. There is only one place left, and that could be under the table. So now, when he had seen everywhere, he couldn't find the snake. He thought that only one place is there where the snake could be, and that was under the table where they were sitting. His first impulse is to jump back and warn the others. So immediately his first impulse, meaning his first reaction, was to jump and tell everyone that there is a cobra. But then he knows the commotion would frighten the cobra into striking. So he knew also that if he made a commotion, then everyone would be making a noise and the cobra would suddenly strike. So he did not want that. He speaks quickly, the tone of his voice so arresting that it sobers everyone. So now he speaks in a way that was very attractive, okay, but he speaks in a fast tone, he quickly, and everyone sobers up meaning they become serious and sensible to what is being spoken. Now what does he say? He says, I want to know just what control everyone at this table has. I will count 300, that's 5 minutes, and not one of you is to move a muscle. Those who move will forfeit 50 rupees. Ready? Okay, so now he puts a condition to them. And what is the condition? He says that he is going to count up till 300, which means it is going to be for 5 minutes, and for these 5 minutes no one is to shake even a muscle. If anyone did that, then they would have to forfeit meaning lose 50 rupees. That would be the punishment. They would have to give 50 rupees. And he asked them if they are ready. The 20 people sit. Now there were almost altogether 20 guests who were there at the table. So all of them sit like stone images while he counts. So he begins his counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everyone is sitting like a stone. No one is moving. He is saying 280. Now the counting had reached up till 280. When out of the corner of his eye he sees the cobra emerge and slither out of the room. So as he is counting, he has reached 280. He can see from the corner of his eyes that the snake has suddenly come out from under the table and is slithering outside. Screams ring out as he jumps to slam the veranda doors safely shut. And when everyone saw, the guests also had seen that the snake was there. When it reached out into the veranda, everyone starts screaming, and the American jumps out of his chair and slams the door shut. That is, he closes the door so that everyone is safe inside. You were right, Colonel, the host exclaims. A man has just shown us an example of perfect control. So now here the hostess says that you were right in saying that a man has shown perfect control. How? Because he did not move. He waited till the snake went out. Just a minute, the American says, turning to his hostess. Mrs. Vance, how did you know that cobra was in the room? So now he wanted to know how Mrs. Vance, that is the hostess, knew that there is a cobra in the room. And then a faint smile lights up the woman's face, and as she replies, because it was crawling across my foot. So how did the lady come to know there was a cobra? It was under the table and it was moving up on her foot, and that is why she came to know that there was a cobra. And she calls the boy and tells him to keep a bowl of milk in the veranda. Okay, so with this we have completed the lesson, dinner party. Read it and try to find the answers.